hard for us women to submit because there's no leadership to submit to. The men that are there are women. And it is the women that have raised them as women. We are not raising men. We are raising boys like girls. So when they finally grow up and they need to marry, there is nothing like a man in him. He can't think, he can't fend for himself because the woman has raised him like that. Those are the men we are pumping into society.
You see, women who have been conditioned to hate womanhood become powerful tools in the hands of patriarchy to perpetuate self-hate and the subjugation of fellow women. And I believe that this woman is a prime example of that kind of woman because her statements show who she is. Bible says, by their fruit you shall know them. Now, let's break down what she's talking about. She's implying when she says that there is no leadership to submit to because the men there are women. She's implying that leadership qualities are inherent in men, but are totally absent in women. And if that is the case, then why is it that the burden of teaching leadership to men is placed on women? Right? Because when they also say a wise son is the glory of the father, but a foolish son is the grief of the mother. It is because they are saying the mother did not train him well, and that's why he's behaving like that. And that's why even when you come to the comment section, when we are talking about men that are behaving in particular ways, they say, you women, you need to do better. You need to raise your sons, this and that. Why is that burden placed on women if we have nothing in our brains? That's number one question. Again, if they feel like we don't have any inherent leadership qualities just because we have a different appendage between our legs than men, why do men need to be taught leadership? If leadership is a natural thing, why do men need to be taught leadership? Why do we need to have a real man versus man? Because there's no real lion and no fake lion. A lion is a lion. A lion will go for food. A lion will hunt. So why do we need to teach men leadership? Are women taught how to menstruate? Do you ever see any woman being taught, okay, this is how you give birth? When the time comes and her body feels like pushing, she will push. When the time comes for her to menstruate, she will begin to menstruate. So why is it that we need to teach men leadership if they are natural leaders? That's another question for you. Again, this person now is standing on a pulpit and holding the microphone, preaching from the Bible, supposedly. But in the Bible, Timothy is a good example of a man who was raised by his mother and his grandmother. And he turned out to be a fine minister of the gospel and a young leader in the church. And there are many more examples of such people that were raised by single moms or were raised by women because the men were nowhere to be found. Are we saying that the Bible is a lie? Because Timothy was a leader in the church and he was raised specifically by his mom and his grandmother. So what is she talking about? Again, she also said women are raising men as women. My question is, where are the men? If she's insinuating that men need to raise men and women raise women, where are the men? Why are they not involved? They are busy chasing whatever they're chasing and they leave their so-called responsibility of raising a man. Because you always see people say, this one, that there's no man in your life. Even when there's a man in their life, women are primary caregivers. They are the ones that always nurture the children for the most part until the children grow up. In most households, that is how it is. So where are the men? So she should not raise him. Okay, he's a son. Go and sit down there and wait until your father comes to train you. What are you talking about? So another point is this. What is wrong with raising boys as girls? Are they not human? When you look at the Bible, does the Bible have a side that is written for men and a side that is written for women? When Bible says we should be empathetic, we should love one another, we should care for one another, we should be humble, we should be this. Did it say men do this, women do this? So those same values, the virtues of God, God made us male and female in his image and likeness, which means there's a female part of God, there's a male part of God. What does that tell me? Whatever God is looking for in a woman, he's also looking for it in a man. If he's looking for justice, if he's looking for equity, if he's looking for honesty, those are the same. Is there a special kind of honesty for men and a special kind of honesty for women? So these people are just so confused, and it's so amazing that they come out and they carry a microphone and be announcing to everybody, hey, I'm so confused, I don't even know what I'm saying. And the fact is this, when people talk about raising men as men and women as women, they're just talking about conditioning them in particular ways according to what society has said is the rule. But the fact that the society agrees that this should be how things should be done doesn't mean that it is morally sound or it is the right thing. For example, there was a time when slavery was the order of the day in some societies. There was a time when people of certain color cannot enter certain places. And does that mean that it is right? So when she's talking about raising boys like boys and raising girls like girls, she's just saying, hey, you need to men need to be there to condition men to behave in particular, boys to behave like men when they grow up, and girls need to stay with their mothers and be conditioned to become, the way that society expects girls. And what are these expectations? Girls are expected to be empathetic, to be homely, to be hardworking, and all those things. So basically, we are conditioned to be self-sacrificing. But then boys are now conditioned to show no emotions, to not be homely, and to chase money at the expense of everything else. So in that kind of scenario, what would a boy bring to the a relationship when they grow up, if not money? And that is why we have a problem. You will see a man that will have all the money, he's chasing whatever he's chasing, but he's like, what is your problem? What are you complaining about? I already gave you food. You people live in a good house. I bought a car and everything. What else is she complaining about? And women will be the ones saying, your husband provides for you. Why are you complaining? But the woman is saying, this man is not present. He does not connect with the family, the children and myself. He's never there. He's this, he's that. And people are saying there's a problem. This conditioning that she's pushing has nothing to do with nature. So I have a daughter, for example, she behaves like what people will call a typical boy. If you call her princess, she said, if I'm going to answer that name, I'm a rough princess. She eats like she wants to. She's the one that comes home with her knees, the knees of her trousers, destroyed, because she will crawl all over the place. She will eat like crazy. She's not a feminine girl. And I didn't raise her like that. That's just who she is. And I grew up also the same way. And that's who I am. So who is it that says that there is a particular way that men or boys are created to be? All these things have to do with conditioning, and we need to call it what it is. She went on to say he can't think, he can't fend for himself because a woman has raised him like that. So in essence, he's saying that because a woman cannot think and she cannot fend for herself, when she raises a boy, in the same way a boy will not be able to think and he'll also not be able to fend for himself. But it basically implies that women can't think or fend for themselves by nature, and this is totally untrue. Women have been conditioned to depend on men, but the fact is that many women in many families are the providers in the home, but they just cover for the man just to stroke his ego. So you see that a woman will buy something for herself and say, I'm Oriako, I am the Oriako, my husband bought this for me. Many women are there fending for themselves and their children, but they come back and give the glory to the man. Market women especially are a good example of women who fend for themselves and their families. Many of us have stories of mothers who sold their wrapper, who sold their gold, and who did all manner of things to pay for our school fees and other necessities. But what are they talking about? That women cannot fend for themselves. It still boils down to what society did. Society equips and teaches women how to be mothers and wives, but they don't give us the opportunity that men are given to go out there and learn how to fend for themselves. So at the end of it all, even with all their training, many women don't even have those kind of exposure. At the end of it all, we still come back and in many cases are the providers in our own families. To further disprove her point, there are many women, single mothers included, who are making waves in the world, in STEM, in medicine, and in various spheres of life. So if they cannot think, which brain are they using? Go and check. A lot of the innovations and inventions that have been attributed to men, all through history, a whole lot of them were actually ideas of women. But because women were not allowed to show themselves in society, men come on and take up that the glory for that. Now, also, when they say behind every successful man there is a woman, while I have a problem with that, because it's actually all about a woman sacrificing herself so that the man can chase his dreams. But the truth is that a lot of the ideas that men come out and they are spouting and all that, they are fine-tuned at home by their wives. They're fine-tuned at home by their wives. So was it like an empty brain? So God created the human in his image and likeness and made a hollow. So in essence, there's a part of God that is brainless, right? So in summary, many women of previous generations need to step back when it comes to offering relationship advice. They should instead spend more time comparing the stories that they were told with the possibilities that exist for us as women nowadays. Because that's the danger of a one-sided story, like Chimamanda would say. What is it that you were told versus what are the possibilities that are actually manifesting? Stop clinging to a past that didn't serve you. Stop clinging to cultures. Stop perpetuating narratives that do not favor your daughters. Love yourself. You deserve to be loved as a woman. Love your daughters. Teach your daughters that they deserve to be loved.